Hello, welcome back to Mysterious Case. In today's episode, we'll travel together to Japan. The videos on this channel are intended solely for promotional and educational purposes. Additionally, we empathize with the losses of the victims and their loved ones. If you're curious about thrilling cases and passionate about detective storytelling, consider subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to support us with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments section so we can discuss together. Thank you. The story takes place in Wakayama, a prefecture located in southern Japan, part of the Kinki region on the Kii Peninsula. With an area of about 4,724 square kilometers and a population of nearly 1 million, Wakayama is renowned for its stunning natural beauty, rich history, and unique culture. The prefectural capital is Wakayama City, a hub for administrative and economic activities. Wakayama boasts a long coastline along the Pacific Ocean, offering picturesque beaches and fresh seafood. To the west lies the majestic Kii mountain range, recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site due to its sacred temples and shrines, such as Kumano-Kodo, a famous pilgrimage route attracting visitors from around the globe. This is also the homeland of citrus fruits and pickled plums, with Tanabe, a city in the prefecture, known for producing high-quality yume. The prefecture enjoys a mild, warm climate year-round, making it ideal for agriculture and tourism. The people of Wakayama are friendly and live at a relaxed pace, distinct from the bustling life of major cities like Tokyo or Osaka. Moreover, Wakayama is tied to numerous legends and samurai history, adding to its unique charm. Though not overly bustling, it remains a favorite destination for those eager to explore Japan's natural beauty and spirituality. In 2017, Japan was abuzz when Kosuke Nozaki, a 77-year-old billionaire, married Saki Sudo, a 22-year-old woman. The age gap of over half a century piqued public curiosity, but that wasn't the most shocking part. Just 3 months after their wedding, Kosuke died suddenly under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind a slew of unanswered questions. The case drew attention not only due to Kosuke's wealth, but also because of suspicions surrounding his young wife, Saki, who showed no signs of grief after his death. Kosuke Nozaki was a familiar name in Japan. Born on April 13, 1941, in Tanabe City, Wakayama Prefecture, a peaceful place with a population of about 65,000, famous for fishing and citrus fruits. The third of 7 siblings, Kosuke grew up in poverty, often getting into trouble and showing little promise in school. After dropping out, he worked at his family's liquor store, where his fascination with money began to take root. From there, Kosuke gradually built his career, though not in a way everyone approved of. From a mischievous boy, he transformed into a businessman with many side hustles. He started with usury, a highly profitable but notorious trade. At the time, Japan's laws hadn't yet tightened interest rate regulations, and Kosuke exploited this loophole to amass wealth. Though he later transitioned to real estate and achieved significant success, his past still alienated many, including his own siblings. Kosuke's life was a journey from rags to riches, but one steeped in controversy and drama. Kosuke Nozaki wasn't just famous for his wealth, but also for his extravagant lifestyle. He dubbed himself the Don Juan of Kishu. For those unfamiliar, this name refers to a fictional character renowned in Western literature, symbolizing a charming, libertine man who excels at seducing women. In his autobiography published in 2016, Kosuke boasted of spending over 3 billion yen, about 26 million USD, to associate with more than 4,000 women. To him, sex was the meaning of life. Starting as a condom peddler, Kosuke seized opportunities to proposition women, even bluntly offering to pay 400,000 yen for a date if he met someone tall and curvy who matched his taste. Well, I find this guy pretty eccentric. Wealthy and powerful, Kosuke didn't lead a conventionally wholesome life. He frequently partied all night in Osaka's Kinshochi entertainment district, spending money lavishly. Yet he proudly claimed to steer clear of cigarettes, drugs, and stimulants, a detail that later made his death all the more baffling. Beyond usury and real estate, Kosuke dabbled in various trades like scrap metal collection and liquor sales, but it was real estate that truly propelled him to success. Still, he once faced prosecution for tax evasion, revealing that his character wasn't exactly upright. Kosuke's life wasn't short of enemies. He was once stabbed for swindling an acquaintance, and his relationships with his siblings fractured due to his unethical wealth-building methods. By 2017, at age 77, Kosuke owned luxury cars, a yacht, and properties everywhere, an empire worth 5 billion yen. But he was lonely with only his dog Eve as a loyal companion. His 2 previous marriages had failed, and Kosuke once joked that he'd leave his fortune to Eve. Then Saki Sudo entered the picture, ushering in a new chapter, but also the final one in Kosuke Nozaki's life. Saki Sudo entered Kosuke Nozaki's life like a toxic breeze, swiftly becoming the focal point of suspicion after his death. Born in 1996 in Sapporo, Hokkaido, Saki was 55 years younger than Kosuke. She grew up in a well-off family, spoiled by her parents with designer goods, but her education amounted to little. As a teenager, Saki was shy and often bullied, but puberty brought a complete transformation. Money and beauty became her obsessions, steering her toward the beauty industry and shadier paths. Before meeting Kosuke, Saki worked as a makeup artist, but her life was far from straightforward. Rumors swirled that she had been a prostitute and appeared in adult films to make money. After moving to Tokyo, Saki got entangled in a bizarre relationship. She spent money to chase a male host from a bar, following him to the capital when he switched jobs. But that money-driven relationship didn't last, and Saki soon found her next prey, Kosuke Nozaki. The two met in the fall of 2017, reportedly at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, according to Kosuke. He deliberately fell in front of Saki to catch her attention, and within an hour they were drinking together. From a chance encounter, Saki quickly became Kosuke's third wife just months later. He gave her 1 million yen a month as pocket money and even signed a contract exempting her from housework. To Kosuke, Saki seemed the perfect companion for his old age. But for Saki, was this truly love or just a scheme to change her fortunes? I wonder if you're thinking what I am. Their brief days of happiness were about to turn tragic, starting with the death of another key figure, Eve, the dog. Just 3 months after their wedding, the small family of Kosuke Nozaki and Saki Sudo faced 2 consecutive deaths, beginning with the tragedy of Eve, the dachshund Kosuke cherished like a child. In the early morning of May 6, 2018, Kosuke awoke startled by Eve's cries. The dog suddenly began convulsing, writhing in intense pain. Though he intended to rush Eve to a veterinarian, it was too late. Eve died in his arms just minutes later. For Kosuke, losing Eve was a devastating blow. The dog had been by his side for over a decade, the only companion who never abandoned him amid his drama-filled life. Eve had been healthy, with no significant illnesses, so her sudden death left Kosuke stunned. He held a full funeral for Eve, even inviting a monk to perform the rites, reflecting the deep bond he shared with her. But before that grief could subside, 18 days later, on the evening of May 24, 2018, Kosuke himself passed away. He was found nearly naked, slumped on the sofa in the bedroom of his home in Tanabe. The autopsy revealed he died of acute stimulant poisoning, a dose so massive it was lethal almost instantly. Strangely, Kosuke had always insisted he avoided drugs and stimulants, as he wrote in his autobiography. Hair tests confirmed he wasn't a regular user of illicit substances, and there were no needle marks on his body. So where did the poison come from? It's likely he ingested it through food or drink, a death that offered no euphoria, perhaps filled with pain and fear. The deaths of Eve and Kosuke, so close together and so abnormal, led police to suspect this was neither an accident nor suicide. Suspicious eyes began turning towards Saki Sudo, the young wife who was with him in his final hours. After Kosuke Nozaki's death, the police immediately stepped in, and the scene quickly became the center of attention. Security cameras at the house showed that in the hours before his death, only 2 people were present, Saki Sudo and Kosuke's longtime housekeeper. On that day, May 24, 2018, Kosuke was busy preparing Eve's funeral. The housekeeper was there from the morning, left at 4 p.m. to run errands, and returned at 6:30 p.m. Meanwhile, Kosuke went upstairs to his private room at 6 p.m. to make a few phone calls, leaving Saki downstairs. By around 10 p.m., Kosuke still hadn't come down, and the housekeeper grew worried, urging Saki to check on him. That's when they found him dead on the sofa, in an unnatural position. Earlier, when the housekeeper heard a loud noise from upstairs, she had suggested Saki go look, but Saki brushed it off indifferently. This cold demeanor raised eyebrows. With Kosuke having just lost Eve and being preoccupied with arranging the dog's funeral, the likelihood of suicide seemed slim. So who slipped the stimulant into his food or drink? The police quickly ruled out the housekeeper. She had worked for Kosuke for over a decade, maintained a good relationship with him, and had no apparent motive to harm him. The spotlight of suspicion now shone directly on Saki, the wife of just 3 months. If Kosuke died, Saki stood to inherit his 5 billion yen fortune, about $33 million US. Moreover, she appeared remarkably unfazed by the loss. At Kosuke's funeral, Saki was caught playing on her phone, even gaming, without shedding a tear. This behavior fueled public doubt. Did she truly love Kosuke, or was she only after his money? The clues were starting to emerge. Despite suspecting Saki Sudo, the concurrent initially lacked sufficient evidence to charge her. The case stalled for years after Kosuke Nozaki's death in May 2018. They even exhumed Eve's body to check if the dog had been poisoned like Kosuke, but after 3 weeks of decomposition, the results were inconclusive. However, in 2021, everything shifted when Saki planned to leave Japan for Dubai. Fearing they'd lose track of her, the police acted swiftly and arrested Saki in May 2021 on charges of murdering her husband. During the 30-day detention period allowed under Japanese law, detectives unveiled a slew of new evidence. First, Saki claimed she hadn't gone upstairs between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. on the day Kosuke died. But data from the health app on her iPhone showed she had been moving, suggesting she could have been near him when he was poisoned. Next, her phone search history revealed something chilling. Weeks before Eve's death, Saki had researched stimulants and their sources. This raised the question of whether both Eve and Kosuke were victims of a calculated plan. It didn't stop there. Police found traces of drugs on the kitchen floor and in the vacuum cleaner at the house. Saki's phone also showed she had contacted a well-known drug dealer with location data confirming they had met. These details painted a grim picture. Saki may have purchased stimulants to poison her husband. But what was her motive? Rumors suggested Kosuke was considering divorce because Saki refused to live with him in Tanabe, and he had even found someone new. If they divorced, Saki would lose her inheritance entirely. The evidence was mounting, but to bring her to trial, the police needed more time and certainty. As the police delved deeper into the case, Saki Sudo's motives began to emerge through her actions following Kosuke Nozaki's death. Just 2 months after he passed, Saki held a shareholders meeting at the house, appointing herself chairman of Kosuke's company, granting herself an annual salary of $1.5 million US and an additional $400,000 US bonus. This move showed she didn't just want to inherit, but aimed to swiftly seize control of her husband's 5 billion yen empire. Saki's public demeanor did little to improve her image. After the funeral, she dodged the media, even clashing with paparazzi when harassed. When police finally caught up with her in Tokyo in 2021, they found her preparing to fly to Dubai with a large sum of money, a sign she intended to flee. These details reinforced the theory that Saki had targeted Kosuke's wealth from the start, and his death was no accident. Moreover, Kosuke's friends revealed a crucial detail. He had planned to divorce Saki before his death. One friend recounted that Kosuke had asked him to be present for support when breaking the news to Saki, fearing her intense reaction. If the divorce had gone through, Saki would have lost her shot at the inheritance. Many believe she discovered Kosuke's intentions before he could act, prompting her to strike. Still, Saki steadfastly maintained her innocence, insisting she genuinely loved Kosuke. But with her shady past and post-death behavior, her defense convinced few. The case now hinges on whether the police can prove a direct link between Saki and the lethal dose of stimulants that killed Kosuke. After Saki Sudo's arrest in May 2021, it seemed the case was on the verge of a breakthrough. Yet nearly 3 years have passed since her detention, and almost 6 years since Kosuke Nozaki's death, with everything still at a standstill. Saki has yet to face trial, and information about her has suddenly gone silent. Some speculate she may have been quietly released, but no one knows her exact whereabouts. This delay has left many frustrated, especially given the seemingly strong evidence against her. So why has the case dragged on so long? One major reason is the difficulty in proving poisoning. The stimulant that killed Kosuke left no obvious traces like a knife or gun would. There were no direct witnesses, and pinpointing exactly how the poison entered his system, through food or drink, remains a significant challenge. Furthermore, the passage of time has blurred the clues. Eve's body was exhumed for testing, but the results were inconclusive. For Kosuke, the autopsy confirmed the cause of death, but couldn't identify the perpetrator. Still, the police persist. They rely on phone data, search history, and drug traces in the house to build their case. But under Japanese law, Saki remains innocent until formally convicted, placing immense pressure on investigators. Without more direct evidence, they risk letting the case fade into obscurity. Meanwhile, public opinion remains split. Some see Saki as a cold-blooded gold digger, while others argue she's a victim of circumstance. The truth lingers somewhere, awaiting the day it's uncovered. The death of Kosuke Nozaki not only left behind a mystery about the culprit, but also plunged his vast fortune into limbo. Estimated at 5 billion yen, around 33 million USD, Kosuke's empire, comprising real estate, cash, and a liquor company, remains frozen until the case reaches a conclusion. If Saki Sudo is convicted, she'll lose her inheritance rights, and Kosuke's family, long estranged from him, might vie for the assets. But if Saki is found innocent, she could claim it all. Kosuke once joked that his dog Eve would inherit his wealth, but now both he and Eve are gone. His 2 prior marriages produced no children, and his relationships with his siblings were strained at best. This complicates the determination of a rightful heir more than ever. Meanwhile, Saki's attempt to appoint herself chairman of the company shortly after Kosuke's death made her intentions clear. But it has only deepened suspicions against her. The case still brims with unanswered questions. Did Saki truly poison Eve to break Kosuke down before targeting him? Or is there someone else behind it all, undetected by the police? Japanese public discourse remains abuzz, yet no one can say for sure. Given Kosuke's history, rife with enemies from usury and deceit, the possibility of another seeking revenge isn't out of the question. Still, all eyes remain on Saki, the young wife with a shadowy past and a chilling demeanor. This mystery may only unravel if and when a trial takes place. The case of Kosuke Nozaki remains an unfinished tale, leaving behind regret and controversy. From a billionaire with wealth and vices, he ended his life in suspicion and solitude, beside his young wife, Saki Sudo, whom many believe to be the culprit. Though the police uncovered some evidence, they've yet to bring her to trial after nearly 6 years. Perhaps time has obscured the truth, or the law demands more concrete proof to convict. Either way, Saki steadfastly maintains her innocence, and under legal principles, she retains that right until a verdict is reached. This story isn't just a criminal case, it's a portrait of greed, love, and deception. Kosuke, with his lavish lifestyle and belief that money could buy anything, thrust himself into a dangerous spiral. Saki, a girl swept up in money and beauty, may have seen Kosuke as her ticket to a new life. The death of Eve, his loyal dog, only deepens the pity for a man who once had everything yet couldn't hold on to anyone. Japanese society hasn't forgotten this case. Many label Saki a cold-blooded gold digger, while others argue Kosuke brought this tragedy upon himself through his way of life. Whatever the outcome, their story serves as a reminder that money and desire can sometimes lead people down dark, inescapable paths. Until the truth is revealed, the Kosuke Nozaki case remains a gaping question mark, offering a lesson about trust and the cost of wealth without happiness. What do you think of this case? I'm staying neutral. I see love as just an excuse that brought 2 people half a century apart together. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Thank you, and see you next time.